Nobody sits down in their 30s and thinks, let me really think hard about what my grocery bill looks like at 72. That is just not how human beings work. We plan for the next month, maybe the next year if we are feeling ambitious, and retirement lives in this fuzzy, faraway place where we assume things will just sort of work themselves out once we get there. And then retirement actually arrives, and the first real question is not where should we travel or what should we do with our mornings. The first real question is, wait, how much money do I actually need every single month to live the life I want? And most people have no idea, not even a rough idea. They just start spending and hope the account lasts. If you have never actually sat down and built a real retirement budget with real numbers, this one is for you. Let's build the whole thing right now, category by category, with actual percentages and dollar amounts, so you walk away with something you can really use. Here is the framework most financial planners use as a starting point for retirement budgets. It breaks your monthly income into 5 main buckets. Housing takes up roughly 30 to 35%. Essential living expenses like food, transportation, and utilities sit around 20 to 25%. Healthcare gets its own bucket at 10 to 15%, and this one surprises almost everybody. Lifestyle and fun money runs about 10 to 15%. And savings, yes, you still save in retirement, plus your emergency buffer takes the last 5 to 10%. Add those up, and you have 100% of your monthly retirement income with a job to do. Now let's go category by category and put real numbers on each one. Let's use a concrete example throughout this whole video so the math is not floating in the air. Say your retirement income between Social Security and your savings withdrawals comes out to $4,000 a month. That is a realistic number for a lot of everyday Americans, and it is a clean number to work with. Every percentage we talk about today is going to translate into a real dollar amount against that 4,000, so you can see exactly what this looks like in practice. Housing is your biggest category, and it should eat no more than 30 to 35% of your monthly income. On $4,000 a month, that is between $1,200 and $1,400. This covers your mortgage or rent, property taxes, homeowners or renters insurance, and a maintenance buffer. That maintenance buffer is important, and most people skip it entirely. The rule of thumb is to set aside about 1% of your home's value per year for repairs and upkeep. On a $250,000 home, that is $2,500 a year, or roughly $200 a month tucked away, so that when the water heater dies or the roof needs work, you are pulling from a fund you already built instead of panicking. If your housing costs are running higher than 35% of your income, that is the first thing worth addressing before retirement starts, because it is very hard to cut your way out of a housing cost that is too high once you are already living inside it. Next is your essential living bucket, food, transportation, and utilities, and this one should run around 20 to 25% of your monthly income. On $4,000, that is $800 to $1,000. Groceries for a retired couple typically run anywhere from $400 to $600 a month, depending on where you live and how you eat. Transportation in retirement is usually lower than during working years since you are not commuting daily, but you still need to budget for gas, insurance, registration, and the eventual car replacement. A simple way to handle the car replacement is to set aside about $100 to $150 a month into a sinking fund specifically for it, so that when the time comes, you are not financing a car in your 70s if you can avoid it. Utilities, phone, internet, electricity, and heat typically run another $150 to $250 depending on your home size and your climate. Now here is the category that catches people completely off guard every single time. Healthcare. Budget 10 to 15% of your monthly retirement income specifically for healthcare, and do not let anyone talk you into a lower number until you have looked at your actual costs. On $4,000 a month, that is $400 to $600 every single month. Even with Medicare, which kicks in at 65, you are still paying a Part B premium, which in 2025 runs around $175 a month per person. Add a Medicare supplement plan to cover the gaps Medicare leaves open, and you are looking at another $100 to $200 per person. Then there is dental, because Medicare covers almost nothing dental-related: vision, hearing aids, prescriptions, and a buffer for the unexpected health expenses that become less unexpected the older you get. If you are retiring before 65 and you need to cover your own insurance until Medicare begins, that number can jump dramatically, sometimes to $800 to $1,200 a month for a couple on the marketplace depending on your state and your health. This is not the place to be optimistic in your budget. Be honest and be generous with this number because running short here has real consequences. Lifestyle and fun is next. And yes, it absolutely gets its own category, because a retirement budget that has no room for actually enjoying retirement is not a budget, it is a punishment. 10 to 15% of monthly income goes here. On $4,000, that is $400 to $600 a month for travel, dining out, hobbies, entertainment, gifts, and anything else that makes your retirement feel like a life and not just an extended bill-paying exercise. If travel is a big priority for you, and for a lot of retirees it is especially in the early active years, you may want to temporarily weight this category higher in years 1 through 5 and plan to scale it back naturally as the years go on. A lot of financial planners call this the go-go years, the slow-go years, and the no-go years of retirement spending. Meaning early retirement tends to cost more because you are active and out in the world, mid-retirement settles down, and later retirement shifts more heavily toward healthcare and home costs. Building that natural arc into your plan from the beginning is how you avoid the surprise of spending too much too early. The last bucket is 5 to 10% for savings and your emergency cushion. On $4,000 a month, that is $200 to $400. Yes, you still save in retirement, not for the far future necessarily, but as a buffer and a protection layer. Your goal is to keep 3 to 6 months of essential living expenses sitting in a high-yield savings account at all times. Specifically so, a bad month, an unexpected repair, a medical bill that did not fit neatly into the budget, does not force you to pull from investments at the wrong moment or worse, go into debt in your 70s to cover a temporary shortfall. If that cushion is already fully built when you retire, this bucket can shift towards small, ongoing contributions that keep it topped off as life nibbles away at it. So let's put the whole picture together one more time. On $4,000 a month, roughly $1,200 to $1,400 goes to housing, $800 to $1,000 covers essential living, $400 to $600 handles healthcare, $400 to $600 goes to lifestyle and enjoyment, and $200 to $400 keeps your cushion and savings healthy. That is your retirement budget framework. Not a vague idea, an actual structure with a real number in every category that you can sit down with this week and fill in with your own specific costs. The difference between retirees who feel financially comfortable and the ones who feel constantly stretched is almost never about how much they saved. It is almost always about whether they knew their real monthly number before retirement started and built a life around it, instead of discovering it after the fact. Now you have the framework. The next step is to sit down and fill it in with your own numbers. That is the whole job. If this gave you something you can actually use, share it with someone heading into retirement who needs it and hit subscribe while you are at it, because we are a small channel working toward our first 1,000 and every single one matters. Thank you for watching. The next video is right there on your screen, and I will see you there.